Barbecue by MAZIE. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you're coming back, I really appreciate the support. All right, I posted several videos about the new Pit Boss Austin XL, and I had quite a few questions. So in this video, it's going to kind of be a part 2 follow-up to a review of the Austin XL. I'm going to be covering a wide array of topics in this video, everything from hot spots, how to do the startup, how often I clean. First things first, I've owned the XL for about a month now. I've used it quite a bit. It has become my go-to smoker and grill. I absolutely love it. It maintains temperatures better than any other Pit Boss smoker I've ever had. Once you set it, it really gets dialed in and barely fluctuates or moves. But something that is new to me, I have never had a Pit Boss grill that you can adjust the temperature in 5-degree increments, so that has been really nice. It's got tons of space. I cooked lunch for my family this 4th of July, and it fit everything no problem. It's done a long pork butt cook, a long beef rib cook, and it handled it just fine. And I felt like it was extremely efficient on pellet usage as well, which is also a really nice bonus. Having a couple cooks under my belt, I'm feeling really good about it. I'm going to go over some of the questions that I have been seeing down in the comments. I know there's a lot of new pellet grill owners that are checking out these videos or buying them for the first time. I had a couple questions going over the startup process, so I'm just going to quickly do that now as we get started rolling into this video. Let's go. As always, open the lid when you're starting up, always. Smoker is plugged in. Hitting the power button. It was set at 350 from my last cook. I'm just going to dial it down. So when I'm turning my smoker on, usually I smoke everything at 250. I just set it at 250 to begin with. But then once you hear that flame ignite in the smoker, that's when you close the lid and increase the temperature to whatever temperature you will be cooking at. So relatively simple. The only major thing you need to remember is to make sure your lid is open when you start up. So this smoker goes from 180 degrees to 500 degrees. 180 is going to be perfectly fine for smoking things like jerky or just like your really low temperature cooks. I rarely ever smoke anything at 180. Usually when I'm smoking, I'm at 250. If I'm grilling something at a higher temperature, I usually am at 350 to 400. 250 and 350 are really the two main temperature settings that I use most often. I can feel the smoke coming. Ah, bring it. Okay, so I can hear the fire igniting now. Such a beautiful sound. So now you can close the lid on your smoker for that startup and set your temperature to whatever your cook temperature is going to be. We are going to try and find the hot spots in this grill. We are just going to lay bread over all the grates. All right, so I set the temperature to 350 to find the hot spots. While we wait for that to get up to temperature, another thing I wanted to cover was the controller. Just to reiterate what I've said in my past videos is the Pit Boss Austin XL right out of the box is not Wi-Fi or Bluetooth capable, but you can upgrade the controller. You can just buy it on the Pit Boss website. It's pretty simple to install. I've even done it. Yes, a woman can do it. Shocking what we can do. Once you upgrade the controller, you will be able to connect it to the app. Also got some questions about how often I clean my smoker. Truthfully, I'm about to expose myself. I should probably clean it more often, but the Pit Boss, you can really push it to its limits. Especially in the winter when it's a little too chilly and I just don't want to do it, I really push the limits. Here's when I really focus on cleaning. One, you'll start to see a lot of ash floating around. That's a bad sign. You need to clean it. Then also, if I'm going to be doing a long cook on the smoker, I want to make sure it's all vacuumed out and cleaned out so that that longer cook runs as smoothly as possible. I do have a video showing how I clean my grills. It's a pretty simple procedure. On the Austin XL specifically, you just take out the grates and the heat shield and you'll have access to that burn pot. I have a shop vac specifically for my smoker. I vacuum out all the ash. I have a paint scraper that I get all the hard debris off the heat shield and the grates, and really that is all I do. If I'm feeling extra fancy, I'll give the outside of the smoker a nice little wipe down too. I had a couple questions about just overall, how do I use the smoker? So obviously you're buying a smoker because you want to smoke meats, am I right? So you can do all your ribs, briskets, pork butts, all those really long cooks you can do on the Austin XL or any other Pit Boss smoker. What I also really love about owning it is that if you bump that temperature up, you can grill, you can do your burgers, your chicken, hot dogs, just all that stuff that you would use a grill for, you do it on the Pit Boss. And then I do things like I bake in it. I'll bake my enchiladas, lasagnas, mac and cheese. I've done cookies, brownies, all that stuff. So you can really, anything you can make inside in your oven, you can do in your Pit Boss too. I've had requests to show like how I do full meals out here on the Pit Boss, so I will be showing that, but it is possible. If you really think outside of the box of like the regular barbecue cooks, there's also so much more that you can do on it and get so much use out of it. Plus, it's just fun to be outside with that smoke in your hair, listening to the birds sing. It just doesn't get better. So in my first video I made on the Austin XL, I had no idea what these little knobs were for. Then I figured it out. It's to hang your rack there. I mean, genius. Little rack storage in the front. Let's open up the smoker and go over a few things in here. So in every cooking video I make, I try to specify which side of the smoker I'm putting the meat on, and here's why. In the middle is our burn pot. That means this is going to be the hottest part of our smoker. So if I'm doing a pork butt or a brisket, I don't want to put it right in the middle of the smoker. I want to try to get it to the left or right of the burn pot. So ribs, anything like that, I'm putting it to the left or right. So if I'm making something like chicken and I'm grilling it at a high temperature, say 350, I will just put it right here in the middle. You're gonna get those nice grill marks on your chicken, and I feel like it just cooks it nice and evenly right there in the middle. So that's kind of how I use all the space on the smoker. Now, if you're cooking like 8 pork butts on your smoker, I would make sure that you come in and you rotate the pork butts on the middle to the outside just to try and cook them evenly. Just keep in mind, whatever's in the middle, it's always going to run a little hotter. Our test with the bread I'm going today is going to show that. Got bread, and I'm going to lay it in the smoker so we can see where all the hot spots are. I'm gonna leave it on for like 5 to 10 minutes, but we'll come back and check on it in just a little bit. But one other question that I have seen a couple times is the P setting. Right out of the factory, the P setting is set at 4. P stands for pause in the P setting, so it is how often your smoker is feeding pellets down through the auger and into the burn pot. The higher the P setting is, the longer the pause. So if you have a P setting of 1, it's going to feed pellets more quickly. I believe P settings go up to 7. If you set your P setting at 7, then the less frequently it's going to feed pellets. Pit Boss sends the smokers to at a P setting of 4. I have never, ever touched my P setting, and I have never experienced a problem or thought that I needed to adjust it. All right, it's been about 7 minutes on the bread here. Let's see, start with the ones I put on first. Okay, so like I said, right here is the burn pot. Those ones clearly got a little more toasty. It's a little hotter there. I tend to use the left for all my smoking, and you can see that some of this bread over here is less toasty, which means it's getting less heat on this side compared to this side where it looks like it got a little more toasty. I hope that was helpful because I just ran through an entire loaf of bread for you people. All right, so I know this was a bit of a random video, but I hope you found some of that information helpful. If you made it this far in the video, will you please just comment turtle toast, just so I know who's hanging out with me till the bitter end. Seeing those comments start to pop up after a video has become something I really look forward to. So thank you so much for playing along with my shenanigans. If you like what you saw here, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, leave me a little comment. I really appreciate you. Again, if you have any questions, I'm your girl. I got you covered. I'll answer them. That is all I have for you today, but we'll see you back out here next time. You have a great rest of your day.